All right, Raider Nation. Today we're going to get into some big news that the Raiders are signing another potential starter to this defense. We're going to get into that and more, but I do want to talk about something that is going on in the country right now. So before we get into the sports part of it, I think this is pretty integral because yes, this does affect many Raiders fans. And listen, this is not a political channel. It's not going to turn into a political channel, so calm down, just relax. But I do want to get something off my chest, and that's with what is going on with these ICE raids and what is going on particularly in LA, the way things are being narrated on the media, and the way some of our Raider Nation, particularly down there in LA, are being portrayed. So with that, I want to just say this. I don't care what spectrum of the aisle you're on politically. I don't care if you're a Democrat, a liberal. I don't care if you're a Republican, a conservative. I myself, I'm politically conservative on a lot of things, especially fiscally. But at the same time, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I think the two-party system is the whole reason why we have so much division in this country. This is the one thing I love about being a Raiders fan is it doesn't matter what political spectrum you're on or what color your skin is or what your native language is. If you love the Raiders, you're part of the Raider Nation. Now, with what's going on with how ICE and the federal government are handling the deportations, I'm going to speak to this from somebody who understands the immigration process. My wife immigrated from Singapore, and we went through hell for about 16 months of going through countless pages of documentation and thousands of dollars to do it the right way. And I even had a very negative experience when my oldest daughter, who's a Singaporean citizen, came over to visit for 2 weeks, and she was literally treated like a criminal, even though she was a cop in Singapore. They treated her so bad at immigration when she got to Dallas, Texas. And they made her get on a plane and go back. That's a 24-hour flight, and it's over $1,000 flight. I had to pay for that, right? So we didn't get to have the vacation. And they just treated her absolutely horribly. So I understand what is going on from a personal basis in my own life. And I got to tell you this. Everybody that is on social media, and I have even seen comments from so-called Raiders fans, who are saying, deport them all, deport all the brown people. First of all, if you're saying that, you're not a Raiders fan. You don't belong in the Raider Nation. If you have an ounce of racism in you, you don't belong in the Raider Nation. We don't want you, and you're not accepted here. Okay? We're going to make that very clear and very, 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 very to the point. Number two, I do believe that if you're going to immigrate to the United States, it's only fair that you do it the right way. But I also understand that some people have come over across the border and they've done so because they are desperate for a better life. And they've worked their butts off. They've paid taxes. They've built businesses. As a retired contractor, I've worked with a lot of these guys. Maybe they were illegal, maybe they weren't. I don't know. They spoke a lot of Spanish. But they were some of the hardest workers I ever worked alongside of. They showed up early. They worked hard. They did a good job. But just like in every ethnicity, some of them got drunk on the job and they didn't come back. Some of them didn't do a good job and they didn't come back. But most of them did. But I'll tell you this, I had way more success working with people who spoke Spanish in construction than I ever did a white person. Not a single one of my former employees that was not a Mexican could not hold a candle to even my worst Mexican Spanish-speaking employee. And before I even started my company, when I just worked alongside them as a laborer, they outworked us, they out-hustled us, they were the first on the job site, they were the last ones to leave. So I don't like the way that things are being narrated about Spanish speakers that are here in the United States. Because first of all, most of them are either a U.S. citizen or on a green card or on a path. Maybe they're on a path because their parents brought them over when they were like 6 years old. I know guys like that who they were literally over here and they were recipients of the DREAM Act. And they have businesses. They pay taxes. They have families. And that's what we have to remember here. So block out all the noise, right? And I've even made a little animated movie from AI that you can go and check out. Check on the channel, go watch it. It's Bigfoot Goes to Dallas. It's really funny. Spent all day putting it together. AI is crazy amazing now. So we try to make light of it. We try to not get too serious about it because it'll really mess up your mind. But I want to make sure that since I have a small platform, I wanted to put my 2 cents in it and say, listen, deportations are going to happen. If you're here illegally, you're probably going to get deported at some point, or you might be in a situation where you can be deported. However, the way that we're going about it, and this administration is going about it in a militaristic way, that is scary. The fact that he is, demonizing these people. That's the way you end up in fascism and dictatorships. That is the way you end up with ethnic cleansing and genocides, is to dehumanize human beings. So, as Raider Nation, we're probably we are the best fan base in the world when it comes to standing up for minority rights and equality, because that's what this team was founded on. We were the first to have a Latino head coach. We were the first to have a Latino win a Super Bowl as a quarterback. We were the first to have a black head coach. That is what the Raiders stands for. And I love being a Raiders fan because of that. And I know that there are a lot of Raiders fans in LA and that are getting caught up in these ICE raids, and they're being treated poorly. And we should speak out for them because we have a voice. And that's why I'm going to put my 2 cents in it. That's all I got for on that. Now let's get to the football news. And that is, we got big breaking news that Jermaine Pratt, according to Jordan Schultz, is signing a 1-year deal worth nearly $5 million. Now, if you don't know who Jermaine Pratt is, he is a middle linebacker. This dude is a converted safety, I believe out of North Carolina at a college. He's 29 years old. This dude had 143 tackles last year. He had 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 forced fumble recoveries last year. Record high again, 143 tackles last year. He's only 29. He flies all around the field. He will be competing with Landon Roberts for starting snaps out there on the defense. It's a huge pickup for the Raiders. I can't believe this dude was still available out there. It's absolutely insane. But the fact that the Raiders were able to sign him to a 1-year deal, nearly $5 million, I think this is just great. Let's see what he got in the Pete Carroll system, and he might end up with a 2 or 3 year extension moving forward. But bar none, this is a big day for the Raiders because having that depth, and I'm not just talking about depth, but quality depth on the defense is absolutely critical. And I think the Raiders just knocked it out of the park by signing a guy like Jermaine Pratt. It definitely adds to the team, adds to the defense, and I think it's going to be really good for the Raiders this season. Guys, drop your comments down below. Let me know where you're checking in from. I always love to see those comments, and I will see you in the next Raiders video.